I felt like my icon was in need of an update, so I decided to create a new one. While I was at it, I thought that this speed paint would be a perfect point for me to do a little life update on what's going on in my life and what has happened after I graduated with bachelor's degree in arts and culture. But before I get into it, I'll first go through the drawing process for the new icon and explain my thought process behind it while comparing it to the old icon that I had. So without further ado, let's get to it! My old profile picture wasn't actually meant for icon purposes in the first place. It kind of happened. Since at the time I drew it back in 2015, I was really proud of it. I still do think that it is one of my best drawings I have done out of my persona, but because of the dimensions of the drawing, in certain situations, it didn't really sit well to the square or circle format, especially when I wanted the face of the drawing to be the main focus. I could have cut it in half to fit the purpose much better, but if I could in some places just make it fit how I wanted, the thought of reshaping it individually, it didn't really come to my mind. As this is kind of renewing my current icon, I at first wanted to remain loyal to the old drawing and follow the pose as closely as possible, with only changing Min's expression and background. Unfortunately, I realized only at the coloring stage that I had screwed up my own plan, and instead of making Mint glance over her right shoulder, I made her look over the left shoulder. Don't you just love those revelations when you are drawing something only to find out too late that the image you had inside your head didn't exactly match the reality, or rather, what you have created? I'm not gonna beat myself over the slight differences, since, despite it, I'm quite happy with the new icon. Those who know me, or follow me outside of YouTube, probably know that I prefer to sketch out my drawings traditionally with a pen and paper rather than digitally. With this icon, I thought that the speed paint footage would end up being too short if I didn't include the sketching process, so I decided to stick with it, including all the steps of the process from start until the end. It was quite refreshing to sketch things out digitally again. From the sketch, I moved on to line art, which I, later on, tweaked as I realized it ended up being a little bit too thin. That's actually the only process I didn't include fully, except a little bit at the start. It took a while, but I feel like the line art pops up much better now with the little touch-ups that I did. Once the base line art was done, I moved on to coloring and from there to shading and background. As I have spread more of turquoise blue and leaf green theme around my banners and such, I thought it was only fitting to make my new icon follow up the same, or at least similar color scheme. I feel like this new profile picture fits much better with my social media and YouTube channel now that it's more similar color scheme than the previous drawing that I did. It's great to compare differences between this new profile picture and harmless drawing from 2015, as I have mainly found my tone within the art that I do. Seeing improvement is much harder nowadays than it once was. Or rather, I do improve, but it is on much more minor scale than what it was like 10 years ago, for example. During the past 4 years, I have gotten a better grasp of how to draw muscles and shading fur. Those two are the more major changes I can detect from the new image immediately. There are probably many more minor things I have improved with, but those two, in my opinion, are the most noticeable ones. As the speed paint goes up, I aim to have most of my icons to be switched to this new profile picture, except for my DeviantArt. I'm still gonna stick with the current icon I got there a while longer. Last May, I graduated as a graphic designer out of my university. I made a speed paint about it, which you can find from the iCard above. But after my graduation, I have been unemployed and still continue to be. But in September, I did some noticeable steps towards getting started with my freelance career. It's very hard to explain in English, but long story short, I have gotten a possibility to try out freelancing as risk-free as possible, and have been making steps slowly and surely to prepare everything for potential customers. So, what kind of effect this will have on my YouTube channel? Probably none, to be perfectly honest. I have started to attempt to organize my workflow, and if things go well, perhaps I'll get into the habit of recording videos every second week, and the other every second week I'll just edit a bunch of videos together, schedule them, and repeat. As you have probably noticed, I've been uploading weekly now for 3 weeks in a row, so I hope I can find a sustainable way to make this work. If not weekly, then bi-weekly if nothing else. This is totally optional, but if any of you want to financially support my freelance career, I'm gonna link my commission prices in the description below, both art and animation. But as I said, that's totally optional and it won't affect the production of my content I have planned for you all. If my freelancing career does take off, I'll make sure to inform you all about it, or if it starts to affect negatively on my activity in here. But for the time being, I can reassure you that you have nothing to worry about. I plan on being active on YouTube as long as I possibly can. And speaking of YouTube, I think this is a good point to have a little bit more serious note. I'm aware of what's going on, and even though I am not as worried about it as some creators, it still rubs me the wrong way. I don't like where YouTube has come. It won't affect me personally too much, yet my mind is still with those who will have some devastating effects because of these updates they have done recently. I'm currently working on setting my videos accordingly to their new guidelines, and bear with me as I nearly have 300 videos, so this is probably gonna take a while. But know that I'm aware of these changes and try to act accordingly. I won't go anywhere, as creating videos still brings me joy, but until there pops up a worthy competition when it comes to video platforms, I will stick around. This news doesn't have such an impact on me or my channel, but as I said, my mind is still with those who will take the biggest hits. This won't be an easy change, but I guess there is nowhere to go from here than up. I guess at this point all that everyone can do is hope for the best, but ultimately we will see. I'm sorry to end this video on a little bit of a down note, but I thought that was important to at least acknowledge, since I know it has caused a lot of worry and confusion among both viewers and creators. But on a happier note, I'm gonna let you all know whichever direction my freelance career takes off, and hopefully that one won't flop like someone's priorities, if you get what I mean. So in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching! I hope you like this new profile picture as much as I do, and hopefully this fresh change won't leave people too confused, since I'm aware that sometimes sudden changes with an icon or profile picture can leave people a bit confused. Feel free to share this video or any of my videos with someone you would think likes the content that I make, and comment below if you have any concerns regarding the YouTube situation. I'll gladly discuss it, or any other matter you happen to comment about. And with that, I hope you will have a lovely day, and I'll see you all in the next video.